capture the packets um, using the browser itself, right? So if you go to your browser, more tools, and then developer tools, select network, and thereafter you can try to access a page, right? So like www.imedita.com, right, guys? So you can see that what's happening in your network, right? You can stop it now, and then thereafter you can try to analyze that what's happening in your network, right? You can see everything that how much time it took, right? The type of, I mean, the data it has the type of request and the response codes as well, right? So you can see all of the response codes, right? Having a status code of 200. So we should be okay, or we should be able to read the information that we can capture using your browser. So does that make sense to all of you? Arjun, Praveen, Rahul?
Yeah,
So if you open up first request like www.imedita.com, first I hit this domain, right? So now you can look at the headers. Also, you can look at the responses, right? So you can see response header, the request. You made this request. It was a GET request. The status code that you got was 200. The remote address, the IP address of my server was this. The response header was like this, right? Content type, data, right? A link, and so forth, right? So server status code, right? Then request header, again you send a get message, right? Cookies you are carrying this time. Maybe you already got the training. I mean, you already got the cookies back, right? So these are the cookies that you are carrying with your request. You want to look at the responses. You can see this is your response page. So that's what you are getting in, right? Also, you can take a look at the cookies at itself, right? So you can see that which all cookies you are getting here, right? So we shall be able to read all this information that we can capture onto our portal. So obviously, you cannot send the GET message unless you have the TCP connection established, right? So for example, if you are trying to access a domain, right, like www.imedita.com, and you see the GET message, but there is no response. What does that mean? You are seeing the GET message, but there is no response. So what does that mean? How can you know, like, how can you start with the troubleshooting then, guys?
maybe the server is not responding. So maybe the server
Yeah, so
is
let me
not
tell you. That means the TCP connection got established successfully because you were able to send the GET message, right? Isn't it? You were able to send the GET message. That means the TCP connection got established successfully. Because if even if your TCP connection doesn't get established, which means that you will not be able to send the GET message. All right, guys. So TCP connection, you can check that. Even you can check your TCP connection using your CMD, right? Using your CMD also, you can check your TCP connections onto your Windows machines, onto your Linux machines, no matter what operating system you are using, but you can always check for the TCP connections, the status of the TCP connection. So if you see that TCP connection is not getting established for accessing your website, that means that you have some issues between you and your virtual server, like between your machine and the big IP. Maybe the big IP's virtual server is not reachable. Maybe the status of the virtual server is down. Maybe some firewall is there, right? In between you and the virtual server. But in case if connection got established successfully between you and your virtual server, right, guys? In that condition, your get message will will be sent out. Thereafter, if you don't get any response, So probably that issue goes to in between your big IP and real servers. However, you might have URL filtering in place. So if you see that URL filtering is in place, right? That is, I mean, that is another. I mean, that could be another reason that your get will not get delivered. Your get request will not get delivered onto your big IP if someone has configured URL filtering. Because when you are sending the HTTP GET message, your proxy working at layer 7 can intercept HTTP GET message, and inside GET message, if it gets www.iminita.com and you asked your proxy to drop that request, isn't it? So that's how it can work. Any questions so far? All right. So if there is no proxy, and thereafter you can go to big IP and you can perform packet capturing on your big IP itself. And you know very well that how to perform that packet capturing, right? Using TCP term. So you can go to big IP just to verify if your big IP is receiving the get message, right? Thereafter, if you see the get message is hitting your big IP, but there is no response coming back from the server, which means that problem does exist between your big IP and real servers, real physical servers, right? So that's where you will have to look for, right? That's where you will have to look at that what is an issue in between your big IP and the real servers. Does that make sense, Arjun, Praveen?
Yes.
Okay. Thereafter, there are some other issues as well, right? That you might get encounter with, right? Is the SSL one. Let's say your certificate got expired, right, guys? So that is one of the biggest issue or biggest challenge that we usually get in production environment. Like sometimes your certificate will get expired, and thereafter your end users will not be able to access the websites, right? So if you are using SSL certificates, I mean, in most cases, like 99.99%, you will be securing your website, right? So if you are securing your website using SSL certificates, you just have to take care that SSL certificate does not get expired and SSL connection gets established successfully between the end user machine and your big IP, right? So that is one of the most important aspect when it comes to uh, the deploying a website. Okay, so the questions around that. So SSL could be one of the reason. Thereafter, sometimes even your SSL certificate is okay, right? SSL certificate is okay, and the client user, like the client machine, is using a old version of browser which is using TLS version 1.0. However, on your big IP, you have configured your supported cipher suite manually. And on your big IP, you mentioned that I am not going to allow those end users coming with TLS version 1.0. I have allowed like 1.2, 1.1, that's fine. 1.3, that's fine. But I am not going to allow 1.0, right? So that could be one another reason that your end user will not be able to access the website if that end user is using the older version of browser. So sometimes you will ask your end user just to upgrade the browser, just to update the browser, and then problem will get fixed automatically. Does that make sense? Arjun? Okay. Thereafter, as I told you before, that even over virtual server, you can put the connection limitation. You can put what? Connection limitation onto your virtual server. Let's say onto your virtual server, you have set like maximum you will process, you can accept a maximum 100,000 connections concurrently, right? So maximum 100,000 concurrent connections will be allowed onto your virtual server. But in case if that connection limit is getting exceeded, right? So like if you are getting a new user on board and the new user is trying to access the same website, in that condition, it will not be possible for that new user to have the access of that website, right? Because the connection limitation for that virtual server has been exhausted, right? Now you could ask me that in how can I identify that the connection, total number of connections has been exhausted onto virtual server. So that, I mean, for that purpose, again, you will have to see the client side connections, the total number of connections you will have to see. In fact, um, there should be a way, I don't know,